Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not heard, Google lost in court and a judge ruled against them because they said Google is an illegal monopoly. This is according to the federal courts. So judgment was rendered, and of course, they're very upset. And the thing is, it's always a bad thing when a company is a monopoly because eventually they start treating the customers like crap because they know you can't go anywhere for that same business. And this will probably raise the eyebrows of others that are doing the same out here. So it's definitely a victory for the federal courts and a loss for Google. And they're saying that Google is out here abusing their power in the market. And whenever competition comes along, they quash the competition. And the thing is, that's how these companies get broken up. And in a way, it's really a good thing because when they're broken up, that means it opens the door for more companies to come out and offer you some really good deals. And you'll have the option of staying with Google or going elsewhere. So, right now, they're saying that option is really not there. They are dominating all of the internet searches that you have to do. And the ruling pretty much said, no, you can't keep abusing this whole thing and monopolizing the system. So, the ruling hands of the Justice Department's its biggest victory in more than 2 decades in limiting the power of big tech companies to control and dominate the huge markets they have created. Now, the judge said Google is a monopolist and it has acted as one to maintain its monopoly. So this sounds like an East Indian judge. It's Judge Amit P. Mehta. So anyway, the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia wrote in his judgment on Monday, Mehta ruled that the Justice Department was right in saying that Google violated antitrust laws by forging restrictive contracts with Apple and other phone makers that required them to install Google as a default search engine on smartphones. Yes, yes, it's not just Apple. I found that even when I got Samsung, because we got both in my household, we have iPhones and we have Samsungs. Everybody got their preference. It's like anyone else in your family. You got some members that like a particular phone, and you got some members that like other phones. So, anyway, they do. Because I remember when I got because I got an iPhone Pro Max. And I remember when I got mine, during the install, it was Google that I had to put on my phone. I had no other option. It was no other search engine for me to choose from. And it was no other email for me to choose from either during the install. So anyway, they're saying, they are forcing people just to take Google. He also decried other practices, the Alphabet Inc. unit that prevented its rivals from competing on an even playing field. This victory against Google is a historic win for the American people. This is what Attorney General Merrick Garland said. No company, no matter how large or influential, is above the law. The Justice Department will continue to vigorously enforce antitrust laws. Wow. Yeah, I mean, y'all, this is huge. It may not be huge to people that use the internet and don't care about nothing else, but actually, it really is because this will change everything. Now, you'll have companies out here that will offer you search engines and other internet packages, and you'll have more options to choose from. So you don't have to settle for Google. You would be able to, the sky's the limit on who you can go with. And those companies will be offering you a lot more things because they want your business. They'll be competing for your business. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And it will also force Google to do the same. See, they didn't have to compete for anyone's business all this time. Now, they probably will have to now. So, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said the ruling vindicate the belief of President Biden and Vice President Harris that the internet should be more competitive. The Biden Harris agenda is building an economy that ensures entrepreneurs and small businesses have a fair shot at the American dream. Yes, that's true. It's like on the internet, some businesses explode and some get pushed in the background, and you don't get the same opportunities to grow your business. So they literally can sit there and manipulate everything, and they already do. They already do. Remember, YouTube is owned by Google, Alphabet. All right. Alphabet owns Google and owns YouTube. And look at what happens to Black YouTube. We get pushed in the background and manipulated by the ones that work for the company. And you don't get seen, but they give a lot of exposure. If you want to know, I can just tell you this, but if you really want to see for yourself, log out of your YouTube account and go to the home page and scroll down and let me know who you see. You're going to see a sea of white YouTube channels because what YouTube does, it goes above and beyond to help them grow their channels. They won't do that for Black channels because they got people sitting there manipulating everything so that certain channels get seen and others do not. And that is a monopoly. That is a monopoly. That's an example of a monopoly where everybody is not getting the same opportunity out here. And it's very obvious, because I interact with quite a few melanated channels out here, and everybody got the same exact issue. And it's not a coincidence. It's not. It's heavily manipulated. Again, it goes back to me telling you we are the victims of sabotage. And that is exactly what's going on when it comes down to Alphabet Inc. and all of these companies they have, and they're out here manipulating everything. And so right now they determine who's big and who's not, who grows and who's not, who's seen and who's not seen. They determine that. when it shouldn't be like that at all. Everybody should have the same opportunity when they come out here, period. So if you're getting anything less than that, that's a good example of a monopoly. It's just like you as subscribers, you say certain things, they now come after you. I have seen some of these other subscribers out here putting the N word in chat, in the comment section, putting it in the chat, doing all kinds of inappropriate things. And they seem to go completely blind when it's certain people doing certain things out here. It's just like the manifestos. You see these mass shootings, right? And it'll be a manifesto out on YouTube for several years. They don't seem to catch that. But if you say something or speak your mind out here, oh, they see everything. It's ridiculous the way it's ran. It's completely ridiculous. But the judge ruling, look, it's going to change everything. Not only is it going to change things for Google, it's going to change other monopolies like Amazon. It's gonna change things like eBay. You got a lot of, you know, uh, companies out here that are just dominating everything. And now it'll be an opportunity for you to have more choices in the marketplaces out here. And that's the way it should be as far as I'm concerned. Nobody should tell you their product is the only one you can use. They're the only show in town. It shouldn't be that way. It should not be that way. But y'all, these companies are not like this for no reason. If you take a hard look, a lot of these companies like Alphabet, Google, YouTube, they get the backing of politicians. That's why they can be out here this long monopolizing, because these politicians are also working behind the scenes and helping them do this stuff. They are. So they're saying, Google argued through the trial its search engine faces competition from people looking for information in other places such as Amazon, TikTok, Reddit, and increasingly chatbots, Chat GPT. Yeah, but those things aren't quite like Google, in my opinion. They're not quite like Google. So, anyway, in a statement after the ruling, Kent Walker, Google's president of global affairs, said the court itself agreed that the company's search engine is the best option. This decision recognizes that Google offers the best search engine, but concludes that we shouldn't be allowed to make it easily available, Walker said. Given this, that people are increasingly looking for information in more than, one way. We plan to appeal. So, ladies and gentlemen, they are, but they became the best by quashing anybody that tried to crop up with their own search engine. All right. So, yeah, you got the best game in town, but look at how you got the best game in town. So, the federal antitrust laws has not been invoked against the big tech company since they said Microsoft was sued 2 decades ago for doing the same thing. For a long time, Microsoft was really the only thing you could get. So, anyway, it's not like that now. So, Google antitrust case has been closely watched in antitrust law circles as the first in a string of cases federal prosecutors have launched against high tech companies. They're giants. And antitrust enforcers argue that big tech has gotten too powerful and doesn't serve the public interest. Lawsuits have been filed against Amazon, Meta, and Apple. So, Meta wrote that Google has maintained its revenue growth and high operation profits by hiking its search advertising prices again and again, and that there was no evidence that the market competition had been able to limit Google's ability to raise these prices. The only apparent constraint on Google's pricing decisions are potential advertiser outcry and bad publicity, Meta wrote. So, this is what the judge wrote. Google, however, has managed to avoid those pitfalls by ramping up its pricing incrementally. Many advertisers do not even realize that Google is responsible for the changes in price. The consequences of the ruling for Google and the broad online ecosystem is still unclear. The judge will rule on remedies for the case in the coming months. One potential measure would be for the judge and the court to block Google from paying to secure prime placement of its search engine on Apple phones and other devices and web browsers. Yes. Hmm. But that could work out in Google's favor since its search engines might be still selected. The company then would have to pay billions of dollars it currently does to secure that placement. Such a ruling could also end up depriving Apple of a significant source of revenue. Yeah, they're paying top dollar to be the only search engine you get to choose. So, well, they said other proposals from antitrust experts include requiring browsers and phone makers to directly ask consumers which search engine would they like to use when they first set up their device. I think they should do that. I think they should do that. And they should give you a list of options to choose along with Google. All right. So I do agree with that. The system has been tried in Europe, where Google has still largely maintained its dominance. That's only because people have gotten used to using Google. It's been a few decades of them dominating everything, but it's not to say that they can't venture off elsewhere. And if that is the case, then that makes other search engines more competitive and they might be more inclined to ramp up their services and improve their search engine. Others have advocated for Google's different businesses to be broken up. Yeah. Again, that's what they did to Bell Telephone. And I know in some parts of the country it was known as Ma Bell. And that's what happened. They were doing all kinds of vicious things to customers. I remember that. It fell apart. And they were broken up by the courts. And now that's why you got the AT&Ts and you had the MCIs out here and all of these other phone companies now have cropped up since then. But before, Bell Telephone was the only game in town. You either take it or leave it. So breaking up businesses is not always a bad thing. The company not only controls the world's main search engine, but also owns businesses that compete at different levels of the complex industry that helps connect advertisers to people online. The remedy must match the court's striking verdict. So, at minimum, that means an end to Google's exclusive default agreements and breaking up business lines that have allowed Google to extend its monopoly into every corner of the internet. The news of Meta's decision was hailed by antitrust advocates. That means they were cheering this judge on. There are a lot of people out here, you know, especially involved in antitrust laws, that are very happy about what this judge did and the judge's decision. For a long time, Google was regarded as untouchable, said one Open Market Institute executive director, Barry Lynn, a veteran antitrust activist. This is the most powerful corporation perhaps in human history. Luther Lowe, head of public policy of Y Combinator and a longtime critic of Google, wrote on X that the ruling could significantly reshape the competitive landscape to benefit little tech by reducing Google's gatekeeping power. Yes, I think it would make things better. I do. I think it would make things better. In its ruling, Meta chastised Google for discouraging its employees and executives from saving text and email conversations to lower the potential that they could become evidence in court cases. The company has been criticized for doing the same thing in its court case with the video game Epic Games. The court is taken aback by the lengths to which Google goes to avoid creating a paper trail for regulators and litigants, Medhud wrote. Still, he declined to punish Google for doing so, saying the conduct didn't influence the court case. Any company that puts an onus on its employees to identify and preserve relevant evidence does so at its own peril. So not only did Google lose, they are sending a warning out to other companies that are doing the same thing. Google avoided sanctions in this case. It may not be so lucky in the next one. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know Google is not feeling good about taking this major loss in court. And this is pretty big. I think this is the first time a company this big has been challenged like this in court. I don't think any company has been bigger than this one, to be honest with you. So, Google is also facing antitrust scrutiny in other jurisdictions, including in the European Union, where antitrust regulators announced in March investigations into the company and others under the Digital Market Act, a new anti monopoly law aimed at internet giants. But y'all tell me what you think about this video. I know everybody is not really into this stuff, but this really is huge. This is a huge blow to Google. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.